Hi everybody, Leisa Woolsey, life coach, coming to you from Airdrie, Alberta, Canada, and welcome to the Tuesday coaching video. I hope everybody's doing really well. Today the topic was spurred on by a quote that Tony Robbins says, which is, "The past is not the future unless you live there." And I've seen it several times over the years, but today it struck a chord with me. And what that quote ties into for me is what I call compass moments in our life. So thinking about who we are today and where we are today, we all have compass moments. Some people call them defining moments also. I refer to them as compass moments, where something happens, somebody says something to us, and it leaves a mark on us. And what that then does is go on to shape us, shape our thoughts, our beliefs, our behaviors. And why I call it a compass moment is because prior to that moment, we were headed in one direction. Once the moment happens and occurs, it changes the direction of our life. So what can happen as we get older is these moments, obviously, we have several of them in our lives, and it changes us in some way. It leaves a mark. As Ian Van Zandt always says, it creates an imprint and an impression on us. And that can then create a pattern for us of living from those moments. We become an extension of those moments. We aren't able, because generally most of them happen when we're young. They still happen when we're older, but we have more consciousness and we're more mature and we have a better way to deal with them often. But these moments happen when we're young and they shape us, and we can get tied into that moment. We can get stuck in that moment. We can begin to believe that moment and what we made that moment mean. And it can shape our whole lives. So that, for me, when I read Tony's quote about the past is not the future unless you live there, you can think about things that have happened in your life that hurt you, wounded you, affected you in some way, and that created a belief or a pattern, and you then carry that throughout in your baggage, in your luggage that you drag along with you throughout your days. So just to give you a quick little example of what I'm talking about, my father and I have a terrific relationship now. In the past, our relationship was a little complicated for various reasons, and I'm incredibly grateful that we have the relationship that we have today. However, there was a time, this particular instance was in grade 9, and I was always a fairly good student, and I had brought home my report card in grade 9, and my dad has a great sense of humor. Often his sense of humor can be quite sarcastic, and I had presented, so I'm impressionable, I'm 14, I'm going through puberty, I'm a hormone on feet, I'm basically a little chicklet that, may or may not be a fairly small mess as a teenager, as we often all are as teenagers. And I presented my report card to my father, and all of my grades were really good except for my math grade. Now, my math grade was still good, but it wasn't as high as my others. And I believe my grade was in the 80s somewhere, something like that. And for the sake of this conversation, we'll say, it was 88%. And he looked at my report card and absolutely did not intend to scar me in any way. He was just joking around and doing what he did. But I was a little girl, and for whatever reason, it landed with me a certain way. So he ended up saying, "Oh, look at this grade. Where's the other 12%? And in that moment, life for me changed. I made that moment mean that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't smart enough and that I shouldn't try so hard in school because I was never going to measure up. And it changed the trajectory of my life. Once again, my father had no intention of doing that. That was not his purpose. That was not his intent. It was a silly, offhanded remark that I'm quite certain he does not recall at all, but it shaped me. And those were beliefs that I carried forward for many years after that until I began to start shifting some of my limiting beliefs. But until that time, I was living in the past. My future was my past because that's how I started to shape things. I wasn't enough. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't smart enough. And it developed a whole pattern in my world. And I think that if we can begin at this stage in our lives, whether we do it for ourselves, whether we begin to create the awareness so that we can shift and do things differently for our children, again, going back to my previous topic about ripple effect, the ripple effect that we have, having awareness around that, where whatever we developed around limiting beliefs, because at the end of the day, whenever something like that happens, the trigger it starts, the domino effect it starts, generally is connected to a limiting belief. Not always, but generally speaking, those moments, those compass moments, that was a compass moment for me because it changed the direction of my life. It changed the direction of me. And so I had the compass moment, I created a limiting belief, and my future then became a replayed tape of my past. Things that I went into, lacking confidence, all those types of things. So that's what I wanted to offer for today because, as I said, I saw this quote, the past is not the future unless you live there. And it really brought up some memories for me and some things for me and some things that I remember and the domino effect that had in my life. So I wanted to offer that this week to just really take a breath and think about what things from your past have really contributed, what moments, what incidents, what events have really led to, fed, contributed, shaped some of the things that you believe or that you think or that you are doing in today's world, in your future. Because if we can begin to have awareness around that, awareness is the key to everything, you can then shift that, change it, create something new, and really begin to reshape your future. So that's my offering. Plant that little seed with yourself. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts. As always, share your comments, send me a message, contact me through my website, www.leisawoolsey.com. I hope everyone's having a beautiful day. I hope you have a fantastic week. I look forward to doing another video next week. Just wanted to quickly mention the small group sessions that I'd like to put together. Some people have expressed some interest, so I'm really looking forward to making that happen in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. And just a really nice way for a group of people to come together and to talk about some stuff and perhaps shift some perceptions and begin to recreate, reshape a life that you desire and that you deserve, that otherwise you may not have thought about this, or someone else says something that is an aha moment for you. It's a beautiful way to share and to grow, and I really, really believe in that. So yay for small groups. Yeah, I think that's about it. Feel free to go to my website if you want to see more. Hope everyone's having a fabulous day. Take care of you, and we'll see you next week. Bye.